Get ready to drop the puck, take a free throw, and step up to the plate. It's time for the Metro East Sports Podcast on lineupmedia.fm.
Okay, guest number 3 tonight, Coach Hilgendorf and Chase Hanson from Mascoutah High School talking about their undefeated football season, Integrity Spine and Joint Center Team of the Month. But before I get to those guys, you know who I got to talk about? I got to talk about my friends at Keller Williams Marquee. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Metro East on the Illinois or the Missouri side, please give our partners at Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blassingame, the chance to serve you. They have offices in Waterloo, O'Fallon, and Edwardsville with more than 130 agents. The Blassingames are a family-owned business that has helped over 5,000 families find just the right home. The Lipes are one of those families. Jeb and Ginger sold our house quickly because they're experts at staging and pricing, and they helped us find the perfect home, and they can do the same for you. No wonder they're ranked in the top 10 real estate teams in North America. Give Jeb and Ginger Blassingame a call at 618-578-9276 or check them out online at blassingamegroup.com. You will not be disappointed. All right, guys. Chase Hanson, Aaron Hilgendorf, head coach Aaron Hilgendorf. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
So I'd ask you how things are going, but like I said off air, man, I know how things are going. Things are awesome right now in Mascoutah. You guys are 6-0, man. You are rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great start to the year so far. Hard work through the summer is paying off, and we're excited where we're at. The community's real excited. The school too. You can kind of feel it in the hallways. It's one of those kind of atmospheres this fall so far, and we got another one coming up this Friday. But we're excited with what we're at and what we're doing.
No kidding. And you're not just winning, but 42-14 versus Columbia, 47-12 versus Mount Vernon, 42 again against Centralia. You seem to score 42 points almost every single week, except for when you played Jerseyville and you scored 65. And then last week you had your perennial rival Triad. How'd that go? How'd you feel about that game?
Well, it was my first experience. I'll let Chase talk on it a little bit too, but heard a lot about Triad since taking the job and being a part of the community in Mascoutah, and that's one of those teams that's been really good and on top in the conference a lot. So we were really looking forward to it and having an opportunity to, we beat them in the spring for the championship and the shortened season, and what a great game that was, and set a tone for this upcoming season and that we're in now. And we couldn't have been more excited to have that opportunity at home with a great crowd on a great night. It was what Friday night lights are supposed to be about. It was a good atmosphere, and like I said, our boys played really well. Credit to them, and just they executed. It may have been our best game. You're talking those scores, but just the way we executed and did what needed to be done, it was a really good game for us.
You're having a good time this year.
Oh, yeah.
Most fun you've had playing football?
I'd say so. Definitely with the group that I'm with now, there's a lot of love with our guys, and it's just a fun time all around, in the locker room, after games, during games, all that stuff. So definitely having a fun time.
And you're a dual threat quarterback. You rush for over 700 yards, 16 touchdowns, and you're throwing it all over the place. Is there anybody that you watch in the league or even in college football and you think, that's how I want to model my game?
Well, to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of football on TV now because I definitely enjoy playing it more often. But growing up, I definitely was interested in Russell Wilson and that Seahawks team with Cam Chancellor and Marshawn Lynch. I definitely grew up watching Russell Wilson throw it and run it all around, and that was kind of who I always looked up to growing up. So,
what's it like coaching this guy, Coach?
It's fantastic. He's a special talent, but he's also a young man that wants to always get better, and a leader in that position, at that the quarterback position, but also on a winning team right now that's 6-0. You couldn't ask for more out of a leader that's always pushing to improve, and and just a dynamic guy he is too on the field. I mean, like you said, he can run there and throw it, and I don't know the stats exactly, but he's accounted for almost 2,000 yards already in 6 games, I think. And, it just that 11th guy at that position offensively can do so much for a program and so much for an offense. And, I think the thing that doesn't get talked much about him also is just the flexibility that he has, because he plays defense for us all the time too. We try to get him off the field and talk to him a little bit and about the next possession, that type of stuff. But it's hard to get him back off because he loves playing defense as well.
16 tackles and 2 INTs on the defensive side of the ball as a linebacker. Coach, Mr. Battis, your outstanding athletic director, calls him probably the most underrated football player in the state. He says that nobody does more for his team than Chase Hanson.
Yeah, absolutely. And the defensive side of that, he's probably played 3 or 4 different positions while, different weeks and different plans and things like that. But absolutely. I mean, when you have a guy at that position on offense that can do that many different things and make that many decisions for us as well. I mean, like Coach Battis said, about him, it's a lot on his shoulders, but one he embraces, and it's real exciting. Underrated is for sure. I think a lot of people are realizing what he's capable of doing, but not enough people at this point. I think he deserves all the recognition he's getting lately, and I'm hoping more and more people hear the name.
What are your goals, Chase?
My goals, definitely, I've always wanted to go on to play football at the collegiate level, and that's definitely something I've been working for these past few years. That's always just been my goal. No one else in my family's ever gone to college to play a sport, so definitely being the first in my family is definitely a goal. Set a example for my little brothers. Hopefully they show them the way, make them hard work, show them what that's all about, and definitely my goal has always been to go to college.
You have little brothers or a little brother? One or multiple? What'd you say?
I have a lot of brothers. I have 3 little ones and then 2 older ones. So.
Really?
Yeah.
You're one of 7.
Yeah.
Did the older ones play football too?
No.
Okay. So football is your thing, but track is your thing too, and you're part of a state championship track team.
Yeah.
That was a blast, huh?
Oh yeah, that was so much fun. I mean, we definitely knew the whole season that we'd have a shot at the state title, so we were working for it the whole season. And track's so much fun too, with the people, how many people there are running track, and working together individually and separately. It's kind of different from football because everyone has their own events and all that, but still working together as a team is fun, and it's just a different atmosphere from football. It's not as loud, but it's still like fun because of the people.
People are into it. Do you do winter sport? Do you do basketball?
Not anymore. Right now it's just football and track. So,
have you had any colleges or universities contact you about football yet?
I've had a few schools reach out and talk to me over text and all that, and we've talked a little bit, but that's about it. I've cut just a couple.
And I'll interrupt you there. There's not nearly enough that have contacted this young man. And that's just the honest truth. I don't want that to come across the wrong way. But
I get it.
I think it's the same exact thing. I don't think people realize what he's capable of doing. He plays quarterback for us, but he's a football player. He can do multiple things. Actually, on the drive up here, we were talking about some defensive opportunities. He's dynamic on that side of the ball. He could play other positions on offense also. Someone's going to get a really good football player.
You know what I think the problem is? The problem, I think, is that you're not competing with 4 years ahead of you. You're competing with 6 years ahead of you.
That's an issue.
You got 2 years of kids extra piled onto you. So whereas in a normal situation where it'd be like, yeah, we want this kid, coaches are like, you know what? I got 6 years of kids in my program. Yeah. And I hate to tell you that, but I know things are going to work out for you because I know about your work ethic, because Coach has talked about it, and Coach Battis has talked about it. You're going to land in a good spot. But I think that's one of the unique challenges that I think you're facing right now, unfortunately.
It is. And it's something out of our control, and Chase will be one of the first ones to tell you that. He's worried about being the best player he can be right now, and that speaks to him. But, it's also unfortunate that everything that has happened, it just puts some people in some situations, and we'll dig through it. But like I said, someone's going to be really lucky to find him and be really happy with the football player and young man that he is.
I'm sure he's gonna land on his feet, and let's be positive about it.
Absolutely.
We could be in a situation where we didn't even have football. It wasn't that long ago where we were scratching our heads going, are we ever going to get to play? So you're getting to play, and you're getting to play in front of a lot of fans.
Yes.
And you feel like the town is embracing you, and the kids are excited, and the town itself is excited. Describe the reception that you've had from the school and Mascoutah, the town. Go ahead.
Definitely the town is really into it. Everybody, especially now that there was a couple years where there was a rough patch where Mascoutah would go 1-8 or 7-2, stuff like that. So now definitely, now that we're 6-0 and coming off last year 5-1 conference champs first time since 1990, the town's definitely coming together and starting to realize like Mascoutah is like a winning culture definitely now with track and all of our sports. We're definitely starting to. we built a culture. So, going around, the town's buying into it, all the kids are buying into it, wanting to play, and just to being a part of a program, just being a part of it and taking it all in. Like, that's what kids want to do that. So definitely the town loves it. Sorry, I'm stuttering.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. And you're looking in the stands, and there's more kids, more people every single year, I would imagine, too, over the last couple of years. And building on the success of last year's championship, I think, people, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. You guys are right back here doing it again. Qualifying for the playoffs already was 6 wins. How do you keep this team hungry?
Well, they keep themselves hungry. We set goals, and again, the expectation for us is to be our best. And I think each week we just keep striving for that opportunity. Football is such a unique sport because I can't think of another sport where, and we've talked about this before, where you're constantly preparing a whole week for one opportunity. You practice, I don't know what the math is, but 75% more than you play, and all that preparation keeps you hungry because you have so much to play for and so much to improve on. And again, it's just a credit to those young guys, but our staff has done a great job of constantly pushing each other, to keep improving no matter who we're playing, no matter what the score is, no matter what the situation is. And that's something special when you have that atmosphere. And just speaking on the community, just an example, I even got an email today, and it was about a totally different topic, just a quick email from a community member. And then there was a whole long paragraph at the bottom about how exciting the season is so far and how nice it is to have Friday night lights and the community come together. And, not only football team, but our great band, the cheerleaders, honoring the other sports. Coach Battis brought back the 90 team. That was the last team that was 6-0 to honor them. And just, the sense of community and the sense of pride in our town and our community and the football team, it's all hand in hand. And that's when you have a special thing in a special place. It's real evident already with the 6-0 start. And, it's not just the 6-0 start, because I'm pretty confident now the record regardless, we'd be having that positive atmosphere at Mascoutah. But winning is contagious.
The vibe
really
is different.
It is. Yeah, winning is contagious.
For sure.
The more you win, the more you want to keep winning.
I want to talk more about the culture you've continued there. I want to talk about playing with the bullseye on your back now.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about some of your goals for the future. But first, I got to talk about Andy Calloway of Calloway Home Loans, because he saves my family money every month, and hopefully, I know he's going to save us thousands in the long run. How? He refinanced my existing mortgage, and he can do the same for you. Rates are incredibly low, and you need to take advantage of an easy, fast, and affordable way to refinance. They do conventional FHA and VA loans, and ask for the MESP special. If you refinance with Andy, he will donate $100 to the Metro East High School or junior high team or general athletic fund of your choice. That's right. Refinance with Andy, and he'll give $100 to Mascoutah football. He'll give $100 to Triad football. No, you don't want that, do you? He'll give $100 to Edwardsville High School girls tennis. You name it. Call Andy today at 618-830-3332. Save money and support your favorite team in the Metro East. So, you were the hunter. You were looking up at Triad. Hadn't beaten them in 30 years. Hadn't won the conference in 30 years. You beat them last year. You beat them again this year. And now the bullseye's on your back. Does that change the way you coach? Does that change the way you think?
I don't think it changes anything, but it confirms and affirms what you're after. We've talked. Chase the underdog story and being the team coming from behind is great, and everybody loves that. And it is a motivating factor to climb to the top, but it's so much harder to stay there. And that's what a great opportunity to have. I don't think that gets embraced enough. Because everybody's coming at you. And that means you're doing something right. If you got the target on your back, it's something you need to embrace. And so it keeps us probably more hungry to continue to improve, to continue to compete. We're playing a really good conference. And I know this is my first year, but I've heard about all the teams and now see them on film and playing them on Friday nights. What better opportunity? Why would you want to not play in a competitive conference? And then once you're able to win it in the spring like they did and have the opportunity right now where we're at leading it, to continue to stay motivated to continue to be the best and defend that.
And you got CM coming up on Friday night at Bethalto. Then you've got Highland the week after that at home, Carbondale, and then you're done. Then you're looking at the playoffs.
Yeah.
How are you looking to improve? I'm going to ask you first, Mr. Quarterback. How are you looking to improve moving forward these last 3 weeks?
For me, I'd definitely say just make sure we're executing everything to a T, because our bread and butter is what works for us all the time. So definitely just perfect all of our little stuff, and we'll definitely go out there and do our thing. If we execute correctly, I think we'll do pretty well. So,
how about you, Coach? What are you working on?
It's just it's the week to week. You get in a routine, and this is a coaching staff thing, and a lot of coaches will understand that. But it's also what your team needs at that week. So we just stay focused on the task at hand. And I know that's probably a boring answer, but CM presents some problems. CM's well coached. They always play hard every single time I've seen them on film. And like you said, they want to beat us. It's their homecoming. So we're really focused on just improving ourselves, and then coming up with the best game plan also. And that motivates you. That's fun. People probably think I'm weird, and football coaches are weird, but I love sitting down and watching film and finding how we can beat a team and how we can prepare here for that. And, the more you can stay on top of things as a staff, that's a good time. So we're continually getting better. Our staff does a great job with our defense, Coach Medvick and the staff on the defensive side, of always coming up with the best game plan. So it's a lot of fun, and football should be. If you're not having joy being involved with a football program, you're doing it wrong. That's our motivation, just to stay better and worry about those next two opponents and then the playoffs after that.
Let's talk about you for 1 second. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
no, it's 3 points.
Okay. Where are you from, Coach?
I'm originally from Donovan, Illinois, almost on the Indiana border, south of Kankakee, up in Iroquois County. And then I've been the head coach at Watseka High School for 6 years before coming down here to Mascoutah.
Well, I know about Kankakee. That's Bishop McNamara country.
Just north of where we're from. So
okay.
I'm a farmer at heart. We grew up on a farm. So I'm in the middle of, corn country. But we were up in Kankakee quite a bit as well.
And you're teaching at Mascoutah High School right now,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And what are you teaching?
I'm a PE teacher. So I teach PE a little bit, and then I work with Coach Campbell, who's fantastic, our O-line coach and strength and speed coach, the rest of the day.
And we had Coach Campbell in here not too long ago, and you're right, he is fantastic.
He does an incredible job, and detail-oriented. Not only does he probably didn't even talk about this much, he does a great job with our offensive line as well. He's a fantastic coach, fantastic human being, but does a great job in our powerhouse and our weight program and leading that. And, he's invaluable to us.
Chase, are you enjoying being a leader for the team? Is this a role that you embrace, or would you rather just play quarterback and let somebody else worry about leading?
No, I definitely love leading, especially like being around these guys, playing with them for a few years. I mean, definitely leading is something that comes naturally to me, and it's just something that it kind of just happened, So freshman year I come in and everybody's looking at me, like coaches of wise, like pushing me to be the best leader that I can be, and they still are doing that. Coach Hilgendorf talks to me all the time about my leadership, and so being a leader is definitely something that I want to do and something that I feel like comes with the quarterback position. So I've definitely knew that it's been my job to lead, and so I definitely take it and do my best that I can.
Are you standing up in team meetings? Are you leading by example, or is it both?
Both. I definitely I do the best that I can. Everything that I can do, I try to set an example. I try to show definitely the younger kids how to do things correctly. So,
yeah. Who's calling the plays? Who's calling the offense this year? Is it you, Coach?
No, Coach McGovern, Jason McGovern, is our offensive coordinator. He's upstairs during games, which is a great place to call. He's has a great offensive mind, and sees things and ways to take advantage of numbers and formationally. He does a great job, and he's been the OC at Mascoutah for a few years now. He teaches at our junior high. He'd be one that says it's a team effort, offensively, defensively, but he's up in the box calling the plays, and I'm on the sideline and with our offensive staff signaling stuff in and going from there.
How often does Chase ignore the call and just run what he wants to run?
Well, and here's a great example. He said, "Let's have some fun." So it's 3rd and 1, triad. We're winning at this point, but it's still a really good football game. It's not late in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 1 on our 45, on actually Triad's 45, I think it was. And just an example of what Chase gets to deal with during a play. So we got 3 receivers to the left and
trips left
and 1 to the right.
Fourth and 1 or third and 1?
It's 3rd and 1.
Okay,
but that's a situation. So we call one of our basic RPOs, and he basically gets 4 or 5 options on a play. And this is such a great example. There's people probably wondering what happened, but he completes a 30-yard pass to Quincy Hall, who makes a great catch on 3rd and 1. And we got a run play called, and everybody's probably wondering what's going on if you don't know the ins and outs of what we do. But the coverage dictated that was the right play to make, and that's the confidence that we give. He's the pilot of the offense, and it was the right play, and it got us. And if it was 3rd and 1 and it was incomplete, it doesn't mean it's the wrong play. He's the one out there playing. We give the keys to him a little bit, and he gets to make those decisions on the field in real time. And we give him the tools to do it, but it's a credit to him, and we can give him more. But 3rd and 1, a run play would have been, if we would have handed off, we would have probably been successful as well. But he saw what he saw, and he completed a nice pass. Quincy made a great catch, and the O-line did their job. And that's just the type of things that we can do offensively, dynamically. But that people don't realize playing quarterback sometimes. Hey, that you're throwing to that guy. Well, I got to diagnose all this pre-snap, and then post-snap, the bullets are flying, and I got to make the right decision as well.
I got to imagine that. Well, when you put option on the end of the play, you're giving the kid the option.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like you're not telling them you're going to do this, you're going to make this read, you're going to throw this ball. You're giving them several. Like you said, you're giving them 5 options.
Yeah. There's some times where there's 5 options, and the ownership, I guess, is what it is, because there's a good way, but there's a better way. And we're always looking for the better way. What's the best play? And without the guy on the field being able to make the decision, the trust in him to make the decision, you have a good way, but it may not be the best way. So we want to be able to do that, and that's a role he's embraced, not only from a play calling stance offensively, but just from like I said, giving him the ability to do that. And against Triad last week was he'll probably admit this, one of his best games of, if you will, driving the airplane or flying the airplane, where it needed to go and control of the offense.
Sounds like you're really giving him a lot of ownership and a lot of freedom and to make the read that he wants, that he sees, and do what he needs to do.
So defenses, they scheme too, and it's the old system of a kill system. There's all sorts of ways of audibility, but we try to give it all in one call, and he's able to what he sees and what it dictates. We always talk about, we wish we had microphones in our helmets so we could talk back and forth a little bit, but
okay.
But again, that's why we practice through the week. That's why we watch film. That's why we prepare. So in those right situations, we make the right decision. And I purposely say we, and he's the one making the call and making the decision with the ball in his hands, but it's everybody doing their job, everybody executing. So
what's a bigger challenge for you as the quarterback? Is it the intellectual side where you have to call the right play or you make the right read, or is it the physical aspect of knowing that there's 11 dudes on the other side that want to knock your head off?
To be honest, I don't think any of those really bother me that much, because when I look across the line, I just see, just regular kids. Like I don't see one guy like, oh, he's pretty big, I'm gonna run away from him. I don't think that ever. I think it's just more definitely my confidence, helps a lot with, I'm confident I'm going to make the right choice. I'm confident we're going to make this play and stuff like that,
Is there a favorite play? Like, is there one play where you're like, come on, coach, give me this play? Let me ask you first. What's his favorite play?
There's probably 3 of them.
Or do you not want to say?
No, I don't mind. I don't mind saying it. We run 4 verticals. He likes throwing the ball deep.
There you go.
He's got a head coach that likes throwing the ball deep. So I think we can agree on that one. We do some of the run read stuff, quarterback run read stuff. I know that's one of his favorites as well. And don't let him fool you. He'll make a wrong decision once in a while.
Everybody will.
But he likes having the ball in his hands, and that's an important aspect of. I mean, why wouldn't you want a guy that wants the ball in his hands? And we corral that, and he's made great strides. And again, watching film from last year and some of his sophomore year, when things break down, he's dangerous. But he's even more dangerous now because he executes and makes things happen with his legs and arm. But those would be the two that would stick out if I had to guess for him.
I think just about every quarterback wants to make a deep throw.
Oh, yeah.
How about you? All right, I'll give you a chance. What is it, the deep throws, the RPOs?
It's definitely the RPOs. Having a free snap option to get it to one of my guys out in space and knowing that they're going to make a play, and then definitely, reading it and knowing I'm either going to hand it off or I'm going to keep it and make something happen that's probably one of my favorite plays.
Vision for the rest of the season, Coach. I got to ask you, what are you thinking? You've got 3 weeks left, and then your vision has to go beyond that. Where's your mind?
Well, I think when you think vision, it's probably a longer question than we have to talk about. But Coach Lee last year has done a fantastic job of building the program, and the vision for the Mascoutah football team is to continue to grow that. With Coach Battis as our athletic director, with the staff we have, and like we talked about with the community, we want to be a football program that gives back, but also that continues to rise to each challenge that's presented in front of us.
How are you giving back?
Well, we're going to do more, and I know we're restricted now, but we want to be in our community. We've talked to these boys. We got our youth football programs out there, and their eyes light up now when they see Chase or Alan Middleton or Tommy Beck or Logan Will. My boys, I have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and they're all boys, and they're learning what it is to be a Mascoutah football player, and that's a cool thing in their eyes. It's not just, hey, there's those boys wearing the jerseys. It's like, hey, I want to be like them someday. So we want to be able to give back and be in our elementary schools and have opportunities to give back to the community in that way. And we haven't had enough of those opportunities yet with some restrictions that are in front of us. But, I think the biggest thing is just bringing people together. Triad was a great atmosphere. Our home game before that, homecoming, was a great atmosphere. I forget how many people were there, but the number was just great for a Friday night, and just being able to bring people together and talk to them throughout the weekend. And, those things are big, and they're important to people, and that's all part of the vision. But we want to continue, and these boys deserve, if they put the work in, the time in, to continue to improve the program and set that high bar for ourselves.
And you got the beautiful new field there too.
Yeah, it's such a blessing to have the field and the facilities, that the community worked really hard. And like I said, Mr. Battis and the administration and school board and stuff, it gets used every single day, all day. We were out there sprinting this morning, and PE classes on the turf on the other end. And that goes on the whole day. And then as soon as school's out, there's a practice, and then there's another practice. It gets used so much, and it's such a benefit to have not only that, but the field house and our new weight room. Like I said, we're blessed. We can't take that stuff for granted, but we got to keep using it to our benefit.
Man, I walked around your school. I had not been in Mascoutah High School since 1983 when I played tennis. There against the Dawson brothers from Mascoutah. But I had not been in the high school, and so I went to Mascoutah last year, and Mr. Battis gave me a tour of the school. The wall with all your athletes who are playing collegiately, the traditional dress of the Indian that's in the hallway, all that stuff, and he took so much pride in that, and he took so much pride in acknowledging Native American culture and history, because Mascoutah Indians, you're going to get some flack. How do you present that? And how he presented that in a very tasteful way, I thought was really cool. But the amount of pride that he took in giving me that tour and showing me all the amazing things going on your campus, it just speaks to all the pride that he has, and I think it's infectious. I think it's spilled into your track team and your football program and your basketball program, and everybody just seems to be moving the right direction. And you've had some tough losses there too.
Yeah, and it's real. I mean, when you look at him as our leader in the athletic department, it's a real thing. It's not for show. It's who we are and who we're becoming and who we're continue to be. And the pride we take on our tennis team.
Yeah,
being able to go out and support them. It's not just the big sports, if you will, but we're trying to support everybody. And that's part of that community we're talking about.
New tennis courts there for you there at Mascoutah. I think they're
beautiful.
Purple. Aren't they purple?
They are. Yeah.
Didn't he tell me that? And Mr. Graff, speaking of one of your losses, you lost your basketball coach, and that was tough. And then you lost Mr. Graff, Sam Graff, who was your tennis coach and who I knew well. And that was a tough loss too for you guys. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I'm going to be following you, and both of you, and I'm gonna be following you next year when you find a great place to play and you're having an outstanding career. Will you run track this spring? Have you decided that?
I plan to. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Yeah.
That'll make you better for football too.
Yeah.
It'll keep you fit.
Keep me in shape.
Keep you faster, right, Coach? You want those guys running track.
I love track, and not only it makes you faster, but just that competitiveness. You know, one of my first, keep talking about Chase, but one of my first times down when school was out was a big track meet, and just the competitiveness that you see in guys on the track is fun, man. Track is a blast, and I think sometimes people it's not because it's not the spectator sport, but track is great. What a great way to compete.
I went to a track meet last spring, and you're right. There is so much energy at a track meet.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Like there's something going on everywhere. Mm-hmm. And you guys were there, actually. Mascoutah was there. It was a meet at Edwardsville High School, and I went out because I wanted to track down Barry. So I went because I just had him on the show, and I wanted to watch this kid throw because he's amazing. He is. And I just missed him. So I went ahead and stuck around, and I watched Brandon Battle do his thing, and it was just like, man, it was electric. It was so fun. You know, we get into our own little sports, and we don't necessarily get to see what else is going on in other sports. And it's really fun to check out the volleyball team and the tennis team, if you will, or anybody. So I appreciate you mentioning the other sports too. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Chase Hanson, all-world quarterback. Coach Aaron Hilgendorf leading his undefeated 6-0 Mascoutah Panthers. And you are Integrity Spine and Joint Center Team of the Month for your awesome start. So, as always, the guests make the show here on the Metro Esports Podcast. I got to thank Sam Quigley-Smith of Cougar Women's Basketball. I got to thank Pat McNamara of the Edwardsville Wrestling Center and Coach Hilgendorf. Mr. Hanson, you guys tear it up the rest of this year, Mascoutah Football. And for partners, Callaway Home Loans, Cassens Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeff and Ginger Blasting Game, Integrity Spine and Joint Center, and Front Office Fiduciary Network. Our producers, Brian Crock and Everett Hicks, and our intern at Zoogie J. Thank you for listening to the Metro Esports Podcast, talking all things sports in the Metro East.